Hey guys, it's Tim, and this is episode 7 of the Weebo and Director Show. We've been having some fun doing this show. We're trying to get it more regular. Was this the third week in a row we've been doing it? So we got a lot of things to talk about, which we'll get into in a moment. But I've also got John with me, aka Director. What's going on?
Not much, just enjoying the fact that we're actually being consistent about this instead of a whole year in between.
Right?
So just excited about what we're going to discuss today. A few things dropped this week that are that everybody's really looking forward to. So can't wait to get into it.
Yeah, so just to give you guys a little heads up, we're going to be talking about the new Tony Hawk remake, which is a remake bundle of Tony Hawk 1 and 2, but not just 1 and 2, which I'll get into why I say that. We're going to talk about Unreal unveiling their new Unreal Engine 5, which will launch in 2021, and something that came out today, the new news on PlayStation's Ghost of Tsushima, or I digress, I said that wrong, Ghost of Tsushima. Because apparently, all us, as John said, all you white people have been saying it wrong. And he can say that because technically he's not a white boy. Which, trust me, we've made jokes of over the years.
Yeah, there can only be one.
Oh, we'll tell that story eventually, maybe. But
yeah,
with that, do you have anything before we jump into our first topic?
No, let's go.
Actually, I do have something. A thing that I wanted to kind of make a thing here before we get into like the news stuff. What have you been playing this week? I know you play a variety of things throughout the week. Always.
Yeah, because I get bored and I'll play a game and just completely get bored about 5-10 minutes into it. So I've been playing a lot of Valorant at night. So anybody who catches my stream would know about Valorant. I've also been doing some Warzone. I just got back into Overwatch because Valorant. So I got into Overwatch again, which I suck horribly. Now I did start back up on Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, which is another samurai-based game, which is similar to like the Dark Souls, but samurai and just as hard. So really good game, great story so far, great visuals, and it definitely reminded me about the Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, I thought.
I said, what about you, Tim? Anything exciting in your games? I mean, apart from getting wrecked with me in Valorant at night.
Always, yeah. But yeah, I've been playing Valorant. I've played a little more of Uncharted 2 because I'm going through the whole series, which I've been doing on stream. I did a little off stream today, but it's all good. Did some Uncharted 2. I've played Animal Crossing with the kids because they love that game. And then I've also, there was something else. Oh, I played some NASCAR this week. But what I'm looking forward to when we're done here, playing some GTA 5, because if you guys are unaware, from today until the 21st, the premium edition of GTA 5 is free on the Epic Store. And that kind of was shadow dropped today, just out of nowhere.
Right.
Everybody went... Huh?
Well, they're doing the mystery game, right? So every week they drop a new game,
right? I think the next one drops in 6 days. I think it said.
Right.
And so yeah, I've got that. I'm gonna play that once we're done streaming here, so that should be pretty fun. I've played the story back on the Xbox 360, but I've never played online because when I had the game on 360, which I don't have it anymore because my son accidentally wiped my 360. I went to try to play online when it first came out, and the online was just so bad, and you couldn't get on and get in. And if you did, there was a huge lag, and there was like nothing to do. So hopefully I can get on there and do some stuff. I may just go through the story again as well, even though I've done it before, but it should be fun. I'm gonna stream that when we're done here.
You might have to do the intro to it though.
Yeah, because when I loaded, go for it.
Because I've already been playing GTA 5 for a while, and I have it on Steam, but I reinstalled it on Steam, and it's making me, before being able to log back into my online account, it's making me redo the intro just to be able to play online. Now, here's a caveat: it is the premium edition on the Epic Store, but if you already have an online account and you've already played online and have had that $1 million pack claimed to your account previously, you will not be able to use that. So
Gotcha.
that only applies to those that are new and have
Okay.
never had that starter pack applied to their account.
That's good to know.
It's
So,
free either way, so it's worth it if
yeah.
you want to play it
Should be
on
fun.
a different platform or play it with your friends because it uses a Rockstar account, so you
Yeah, the
can log in and
Rockstar Social
right,
Club or something.
exactly. So you
Which
can play with anybody,
was
pretty much
very
on PC.
weird. When I went to load up the game earlier just to see if it'll load, and I did everything, I installed it right. I went in there, I forgot my Rockstar password, so I went and logged in. And for some reason, it would not let me change my password on the English site. It would only send me to the Russian site. Even when I erased the RU from the URL just to go to, Rockstar Social Club, whatever, it still reverted back to the Russian site.
You might want to reinstall your Rockstar app.
So I don't know. But then I loaded up the game and it was all in English and perfectly fine. But it did
Yep.
say at the bottom of the screen, it said exit settings, play game. So I guess you have to play the intro before you can get online.
Yeah. So that's the only part that annoys me about it is if for some reason your stuff does get deleted, you do have to redo that.
Right. So, and they have said they are working on GTA 6. When that comes
Yep.
out, who the hell knows?
I
So,
mean, how long has it been? We're talking playing GTA 5 like on the
2003,
PS3 and
2012 2013 is when it came out. Because it came out on
yeah.
the PS3 and 360. And then, not long after, the PS4, Xbox One launched, and it was right on there at launch.
Yeah, I'm thinking if anything, we might hear more about it towards the end of the year, and it's possible that we might hear enough to where they're going to announce maybe a release date for next year or the year after.
Well, because what I had heard is they're working on it, and unless they would say, it's been in development, then I would assume that maybe they can release something, they can announce something this year. But when they say we're working on it, doesn't lead me to believe that they're that far into development.
Right, right.
Because let's see, I was just trying to see because I know I had read something about it before, but I can't find. Is it right here on Tech Radar? This says. Yeah, no, this is an old thing that they were just trying to predict. Because so what Tech Radar did was they looked at the time between GTA 5 and Red Dead 2, and then tried to predict. Okay, well, you have that gap. So then after Red Dead 2 should be GTA 6. What's that gap? Yeah,
Yeah, I think they said 24 to 26 months, something like that.
something along those lines. I can't remember exactly. I was trying to see. Yeah, potential fall 2021 release date would be 2021, 2022 would be the safe bet if you go with the gap because Rockstar has the thing that they have said before is they're going to alternate Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead, and then keep the online systems going. And that's the other question is the online going to change at all when they go from 5 to 6? And are they going to, eventually they'd have to cut online services from 5 and only do 6.
Yeah, I think
But it probably
it's
wouldn't be for a
definitely going to
while.
change from yeah, because you're going full on new gen here.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking 7 to 9 years between the last installment, that we're still on. So my whole thing is, I think they should do a migration over. So if you've had an online account on GTA 5, that you can at least maybe transfer
Exactly.
funds or transfer something over your character into the new online community there. Oh, excuse me. But that would also put other players at a disadvantage that are new. So they gotta kind of look at an in between.
Yeah.
How much can you transfer over? What would you start off with if you maybe like a bonus? hey, you start off with a bonus online if you've had GTA 5 and played online before.
So GTA 5 released on the last gen, September 17, 2013. So it's almost 7 years ago.
Yep.
But we're not here to talk about GTA. We're here to talk about some other stuff like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 being remade. And I'm not calling this a remaster because it's not a remaster. It is a full-on remake from the ground up. It is everything you loved from number 1 and number 2, THPS. It's got all the levels. Every single skater is back. And here's the craziest part about all this. Not only did they just look at pictures of the skaters and create the models, oh no. They brought every skater into their studio and scanned them for their model. That's what
look
I
at
love.
the that trailer that came out, because they're in the trailer that they did for the 1 and 2 uh, remaster or remake. They're
Remake, yeah.
showing the comparison between the original 2 and the models for the new one, and it's awesome. This is pure nostalgia. Like
Well,
going through and playing this.
even if you didn't scan them, you could still make models that look a lot better nowadays. But this is being done by Vicarious Visions, and you know what their last 2 games were?
What?
The Crash Bandicoot Trilogy remake and Crash Team Racing remake, which were both really, really, really great. Like, both were successes. So
they're just focusing in on bringing back those old school games we're used to.
yeah, bringing back the nostalgia, all that kind of stuff. And as John goes away here, I will. Oh, nope, maybe he's not going away.
No, not going away. When you're hungry, you're hungry.
So I'm going to read
Things
this
that
here.
happen when you
I'm going to read this here a little bit from IGN, as they got an exclusive on the game when it first was announced. They state that the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake will be released on PC, Xbox One, PC, Xbox One, and PS4 on September 4th, 2020, with the PC version being an Epic Store exclusive. Gotta had some people up in arms about that. Some people were unhappy that it wasn't going to be on Steam, which, as somebody that's new to PC gaming, I still don't get the big hullabaloo.
I guess it's loyalty to Valve and Steam. Steam has been the all-time platform for games. So when Origin took their games and moved over to the Origin platform, when EA did that, when they slowly started separating them, it's the part that your friends list are not all in one place, and not everybody's purchasing their games in the same online platform. So unless the game has their own dedicated online social, no, not server, but
Social
their
login?
online social, exactly, social platform like Rockstar, Uplay, then it makes it difficult to cross-play even within PC. We already know there's issues cross-playing from PC to console and console to console. Now think of that between different PC platforms. So that's always been a thing. But from somebody who's been playing on Steam since way back, we're talking about like the first Half-Life, the first Counter-Strike, all of that. I know where they're coming from. I've been pissed too because of those reasons, but the games are way cheaper. The sales aren't as much as Steam, but for instance, I got what was it? Borderlands 3 on sale for a third of the price that it was on Steam. And this was like the full premium edition with the DLC and everything.
Also,
That's just giving you an idea.
You know why developers and publishers are going with Epic over Steam, right?
The commission.
Yeah. You make more. Epic is taking less of the sale than Steam does.
Which makes me wonder if this is why. Well, it makes me wonder if this is why they decided to go back to the Half-Life series and go with Alex, because that is their iconic game.
Yeah.
And it sold a lot of Steam kits, and it sold a lot in general for those that had other VR sets. I think that as developers start moving and publishers start moving away from Steam and to the Epic Store, that they're going to have to get back into game development just because of the loss of revenue that way.
And as far as revenue and helping out developers and stuff for Epic, we'll talk about that when it comes to Unreal Engine 5, because they've made some changes to the commission and what's it called. We'll get into it when we get into the next topic. But a little more on Tony Hawk. Again, they're done. The game is being made by Vicarious Visions, the same studio that did the remakes of Crash Bandicoot, Insane Trilogy, and Crash Team Racing. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 will introduce some new moves not featured in the original games. Now, this is why I say it is everything from 1 and 2 and then some. Because in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1, you couldn't do a manual. That was added in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. But then other things were added in next upcoming games like Pro Skater 3, Pro Skater 4, like reverts. Reverts didn't come until, I think, Pro Skater 3, but those will be implemented into the 1 and 2 remake. So
and this
that's
all
really
had to
cool
do with the technology.
That things that advanced the series going forward in other games that made the games better will be used in these games, like the sticker slap and the reverts and stuff, because they know that will make the games feel better, feel more realistic, and feel more seamless, because they want it to feel as much like Pro Skater 1 and 2 as possible, but as modern as they can without taking that feel away. I don't know. They stated here, we started with Neversoft's original handling code. We started with that as a foundation and then layered on what we needed to do it modernized. The other things that we look at with the geometry, because we wanted to match inch by inch the geometry so that those lines feel exactly the same they were before. So they did an interview with Jeff Keighley of the Game Awards, and they told him that basically they want every level to feel like it did in 1 and 2, so that way once you're in after 5 minutes, it's just muscle memory from what you remember. And you're just like, oh, I remember, okay, there's a rail over here, or I'm going to turn this corner and boom, there's going to be a big stair set. So they want everything to look and feel the same, so those people that played hundreds of hours back in the day can just get right back in their rhythm, which I think is amazing.
And I like the fact that they're bringing in a lot of the stuff that was made possible as technology progressed.
Exactly.
It was made possible in the future in the sequels. One thing I want is skater skins, like the Santa Claus, the hobo. I want all those coming back too, and any of the hidden Easter eggs and the scavenger hunts that you had to do in the originals.
Oh, all that'll be in like collecting the skate letters and finding the secret tapes and all that. Man. And then if you get the which I'll talk about in a minute, if you get the deluxe version for Tony Hawk, Rodney Mullins, I think it is, and one other, you're gonna get extra costumes or skins or whatever you want to call them with more retro outfits. But going here, one of the things, the big things that modernized this is going to modernize this is the controls, because on the original Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1, there was no analog sticks. It was all D-pad. So that's another thing that they have to add in here when you're thinking of changing the way that people played Pro Skater 1. That was on PS1 when some people had the analog controller, but not everybody had the analog controller. They go on to state that we didn't want to change everything because the reality is your muscle memory sets in and you're automatically hitting the buttons the way you remember. But the one thing that we did have to put a little extra attention on, because back then it didn't exist, were analog sticks. They also stated that in the gameplay there have been slight tweaks to make the skateboarding feel a little more modern. But everything that you'd love about your missions are there, collecting skate letters, secret tapes, and etc. Okay. They said from the original games, they will also be introducing challenges, which this is a cool quote here. They state, we've added more challenges to each of the levels that you accomplish. Some are even per skater, for example. So not only there's more to do now, because not only is it, oh, let's just go through every level with Tony Hawk and then you beat the game. You do all the missions and challenges. But now, you got to be Chad Muska. You got to be Rodney Mullins, because certain skaters, I don't know if it's everybody, but certain skaters are going to have certain challenges and missions per level. So now it gives you more reason to just keep playing and redoing everything.
So here's one thing. There's a on the IGN site, if you scroll down to all the comments and you start reading through what people are saying, what they're thinking, it's funny. One guy brought up what this game would look like on G-Sync, or even FreeSync. Just the fact that back then you're not even at 60 hertz, you're maybe at 20, 30 frames per second on a monitor that can't even hit that 60 hertz. So, or a TV, they can't even hit that 60 hertz. You're
Very
talking
true.
about playing this game now in a 16:9 ratio instead of the 4:3 adjusted ratio. There's a lot of difference, and the fact that this is going to have a higher frame rate. This isn't, from the looks of it, it's not going to look like it's a massive high end like Skate XL and a couple of the other skate simulators.
Well, Skate XL is still in beta.
Right, but even the graphics to it, it's not going to be as high depth as, or as, I don't know, it's not as advanced as those. And so being able to push the high frame rate on this is going to be great.
Oh, yeah.
So being able to see all the moves with such fluidity that you couldn't back then is really going to stand out.
And I'm just showing off some of the screenshots that IGN has up on their website. And they've got the warehouse level. Fuck. Anyways.
They have a comparison one.
Yeah, right
somewhere.
here. They have some comparisons right here from the original to the new. And it's just like all that detail that they have added into each level is insane. But one other thing that Tony Hawk stated himself that he had always wanted was online play. And if you remember, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 on the PS2, I think it was Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, one of the very first games that you were allowed to play online with the PS2. It was one of the first games that had online compatibility on the PS2 when you had to go and get the modem adapter and plug it into your modem. And I remember that because I would have, because we played a lot of Gran Turismo online growing up. So what we would have to do is literally, we'd had our PlayStation in our room. We'd have to lug that and the TV to the other side of the house where the actual internet modem was, hook that all up, then plug the internet in just to play a game online.
No. Remember when, if you were lucky enough to have bought one of the wireless G adapters, so all it did was a bridge. It would bridge across to your actual network. So it was two devices, and it would just bridge across to your PS2. I remember using that a lot for SOCOM and being dropped half the time.
I remember you having a 50-foot Ethernet cord running through the house at one point.
Yep. Just to play.
Yep. But, I mean, going forward and talking about online play, something Tony Hawk said he always wanted, online play will be a big thing in this game. They said Tony Hawk Pro Skater will support competitive online play, but the remake will also feature a split-screen local multiplayer to give you that nostalgic feel. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2's online functionality will also extend to the return of Skate a Park and create a skater. Players will be able to share their creations online, and Vicarious Visions is hoping to give players a wide array of options to build their dream skate parks. Basically, what they said in the interview with Jeff Keighley is, yeah, we've got all these built-in assets that you can use to create your skate park, but every single asset is editable. So you may have a ramp with the rail, but that rail is not exactly how you want the rail to be set on that ramp. Move it, change it. Because what Tony Hawk said is he wants to see, because basically what you can do is, you create your skate park, you give it a name, and you can actually put tags on different things in the park, apparently. And what Tony Hawk is saying is, he wants it to feel like you go online and you can go to any skate park around the world. He wants people creating their local skate parks and then uploading them. The other cool thing is that you can also set it to where if you upload your skate park, other people can then edit it. So say you and like 3 friends regular the skate park in your hometown, and you create the base of it and then tell them, right, now go finish it. You can upload it online. They can take it, download it, edit it all up, finish it, add, and then boom, you guys can all work on it together, which is very, very cool. It says Creative Park is more robust than ever. It's a deep set of tools for creating your ultimate park, and it's not just a huge library of ramps, rails, and boxes. On top of that, you can deform everything. So you're able to take some pieces and some shapes and make them into the ultimate skate amusement park, if you will. About the music, go for it.
So, have you noticed how a lot of developers are now moving towards player created content to expand their community and replayability of their game? So this is a huge step forward in that initiative, and getting these user created maps, or I say maps because I'm from the FPS side, but these parks is going to be great. I can't wait to see what people come up with. The challenges. I wonder if you'll be able to create your own challenges within the skate parks.
That would be cool.
So if you're looking at the same type of challenges that you have in other the locations that they have in the game, creating your own challenges there. Maybe you have a sequence, so you go from this ramp to maybe this half pipe and back over here to this rail, and you have to hit a certain score, just compete amongst other players within that and create your own leaderboards within those.
I would assume at least you can, which I don't know for sure because I don't remember how Create Park was in the old games because it's been so long since I played them. But I would at least assume you can like add the skate letters for people to find and the secret tapes and stuff. And then I would also assume that every created level will also let you play graffiti on it as well.
That will definitely be nice.
Which playing graffiti online would be so much fun with people.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the big things, though, about the Tony Hawk franchise is the music. And they stated that they've gotten almost every song back from the original 2 games, except for maybe a slight handful that they couldn't get the actual licensing to now. But like when you think about it, they've got almost every song back from Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Now, the last time we had a release of these 2 games was on the PS3 and the Xbox 360 when they did Tony Hawk's Pro Skater Remastered, which was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD, which was a remaster of 1 and 2. And they had 7 of the original songs and 7 new songs. But the new songs still fit the vibe of what the original soundtrack was. So they haven't said if they're going to add any new songs or not, or if they're just going to go with what they can get from the original. So,
man, that is some old stuff. Like,
I mean, they got what? Papa Roach. I'm trying to just think.
Papa Roach, Fu Manchu, Naughty by Nature, Anthrax, Bad Religion, The Vandals, Rage Against the Machine, Suicidal Tendencies, Primus, Goldfingers, The Ernies, Dead Kennedys. That's just to name a few.
So, just to close this all out, they've said that some of the team that they've assembled to work on this at Vicarious Visions actually worked on the original games 21 years ago at Neversoft, which is really cool. They say that for all of us, it's like revisiting a really important part of our past. 21 years has gone by, and we get to revisit something that is so meaningful to our careers. We're so grateful to have this opportunity. Because Vicarious Visions is basically, because the game was created by Neversoft Studio, which was a subsidiary studio of Activision. So a lot of these people worked at Neversoft or Activision, and now Vicarious Visions is redoing all these old Activision games and stuff. So I'm excited. The game comes out on September 4th, and they stated that if you pre-order it digitally, only digitally, you will get the warehouse demo. They haven't stated when the demo is supposed to come out. They said sometime over summer the demo will be available. So if you pre-order the game digitally on Xbox, PlayStation, or PC, you will get the demo, so you can play early.
Well, I guess I'm pre-ordering it now.
And that's my big thing is, I don't know what I want to get it on, PS4 or PC, because there's a rumor that Crash Bandicoot may end up a playable character but it may only be on PlayStation. But that's the
Why
rumor.
would it see? It is a rumor, but I don't see
Because
why.
originally
Considering they
Crash
came out
Bandicoot was only PlayStation originally, so
right, but it's on Steam and
no,
it's
I know,
on
I know.
that
Now it's not exclusive.
right. So
So, but I'm also holding out hope the PlayStation gets Spider-Man exclusively because Spider-Man was in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, and
yep,
who's the only system with a Spider-Man game now? PlayStation.
yep.
I doubt we get Spider-Man, but how cool would it be if you can be out there doing all them Spidey flips and anything a spider can do and all those other cool Spider-Man only moves? That's another reason why I'm kind of waiting. Like, once I hear demos available, then I'll be like, all right, I got to make my choice now so I can play the demo. So I'm just going to wait and see.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so only if you do it digitally will you get it, whether you do it from whether you do it PlayStation or Epic.
Yeah, however, PlayStation, Xbox, or PC, digitally you get the demo. If you pre-order it from like your Target, Walmart, or GameStop, you don't get the demo. At least that's how they phrased it. Because they said digital pre-orders only get early access to the warehouse level demo. So I don't know if that means early access, because they said early access to the warehouse demo. So I don't know if the demo is eventually going to be available for everybody before the game comes out, or only those people that did it digitally, or if the people that pre-order digitally get the demo early before. The verbiage was kind of weird. But I miss back in the day when almost every single game had a demo before it came out.
Oh, I remember those demo discs that you would get just when you bought the console
PlayStation
itself.
magazine. Or you get the PlayStation magazine. There's a demo disc with like 5-6 games every month.
Mm-hmm.
You know how many times I played the Medieval demo? Like 50,000 times.
More iconic games.
Or freaking the Gran Turismo 2 demo. We burned that disc. Like, that disc almost wasn't playable because we played it so much waiting for Gran Turismo 2 to actually come out.
I did that. I did Jet Moto 2, and I did a few others on there as well.
But, yeah, I'm excited for
That
Tony
reminds
Hawk.
me, remember Game Shark?
Oh, my God.
When being able to beat your game and then go back and use cheats on your game was the way to go, the way to do things.
Right?
No Games Plus or anything. It was, I beat my game, so now I'm going to go use Game Shark and throw in some cheats and see what I can do.
Exactly. But I'm excited for this game. I think it's going to be, I'm probably going to play way too much of this game on stream. I will have this game day one. Trust me. This is one game, like a lot of times I wait and be like, I'll get that a month or two later, or I'll find a torrent and download it whenever. But this is a game that I'm going to have day one because I'm that excited. I played so much of these games growing up. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1, 2, 3, 4, Underground 2. And then heck, why don't we go one step further? Why don't they bring back Thrasher, Skate, and Destroy? EA's never going to bring back... EA's never going to give us Skate 4 of them bastards.
No. EA is just cookie cutting the sports games out. And
everybody... Because I know when they first showed off the trailer for this game, and you see a skateboard, when I was watching live on the Game Awards... what's it called? The Game Awards... Twitch, everybody in that Twitch was Skate 4, Skate 4, Skate 4, and then you see the Birdhouse logo on Tony Hawk's shirt, and you go, never mind. Why is it Tony Hawk? Because Tony Hawk 5 was crap. I'm just going to say it right now. The last one, garbage. And Tony Hawk even went public and said that that game was disappointing and that he will make it up to people.
Yep.
But with that,
so let's see how he does that.
Move on to our next topic. Unreal, or should I say Epic, has unveiled the Unreal Engine 5. And cool. But the thing that stands out to most people with this tech demo that they showed was that it was shown running on a PlayStation 5. This is the first time that we have seen any footage in-game coming from the PlayStation 5.
And that is huge. That is huge news because although Sony themselves hasn't done anything with the PS5, the fact that here we're seeing a new Unreal Engine and we're seeing the actual tech demo on there. Now, mind you, this is a tech demo, and we've always been fooled by tech demos. But
Well,
nonetheless, this was a playable tech demo that is
yeah,
replayable and can be different every single time.
but it
So
will
they
never be
said, we'll
put out.
see if they play it again.
I do have to preface though, this is something that they stated was only created for this demo. It was a playable game, but it will never be a full game that will be put out for anybody to play, which is kind of a shame because it looked very interesting.
It'd be nice if somebody picked it up to do something with it.
Yeah, you'd have to get the rights from Epic, and I don't know if they'd be willing, but
Yeah, but pretty much with the Unreal, for those of you that didn't see it,
I've got
it
it playing right
was.
here.
Do you have it?
They got it playing right here.
Okay. So if you see the dynamic lighting on this is the key feature that they were boasting and bragging about with the Unreal, and the way that they completely redid the mesh, I guess the way everything interacts with itself, so that you could do dynamic light without
Millions.
having to, as they call it, cheat
They said
through it.
millions. They said millions upon millions of dynamic polygons that can be changed at any time without having to re-render or bake any of the geometry. And that one of their big things is their new ambient occlusion for the shadows.
Right, which you don't see it too much here, but when you're in the further down, when you're in that cavern where the top of that chamber opens up and the light just floods in, and you see the different grades of light, shadows, that's where it's extremely noticeable. Or when she's moving around and jumping and flying. This also says a lot about what the PS5 can do. Um, Even if the new engine is powerful and can reduce the amount of overhead that the current technology needs, they are stating that this is going to be released for the next gen consoles as well as PC. So not until Q1 or Q2, I think, of 2021.
Yeah, that sounds about
Um,
right. What they said. They
yeah.
said that basically the Unreal 5 will be available for developers to start using in Q1 of 2021. They also stated that they said, because they made it a point to state this, Fortnite will be a launch title on next gen. Like, you get a next gen console, PS5 or Xbox Series X, you open it up, you can download Fortnite. And they said halfway through 2022, Fortnite will migrate to Unreal Engine 5.
So with that being, the whole next gen consoles, they did state that it is powerful. You can make high end console games look amazing, but it's also for making games on smartphones and allowing you to expand your audience for games. Um,
But
so the ability for more platforms, just because of the way it handles the lighting, you can make mobile games
but here's the
look
other
even better
thing
than they do
with
now.
Unreal Engine. You don't need it only for games. If you've seen Mandalorian, most of the
Mhm.
Mandalorian was shot on video walls, in front of video walls, with everything rendered out through Unreal Engine 4.
Yep.
A lot of that show and the backgrounds and the scenery and everything was all computer generated and rendered out in real time with Unreal Engine 4. Basically, what they were able to do, the director was able to put a VR headset on and be able to look around in the environment they created in 360 space, so that way he can see everything and know where he wants to frame his shots, and then tell whoever's working, the computers and everything, right, move this way, move this that way, I want this in this shot. And they were able to move it all dynamically. And this is with Unreal Engine 4. Just think we can do it with Unreal Engine 5. They were able to move it all dynamically, on the go, rendering live, not having to, pre-render, bake any of the geometry or anything. So it's going to be interesting. But one of the things that I wanted to read here was a quote that they stated about the PlayStation 5 and its hardware. They stated, "The storage architect on the PlayStation 5 is so far ahead of anything you can buy on anything on PC for any amount of money right now. It's going to help drive future PCs. They're going to see this thing ship and say, oh, wow, SSDs are going to need to catch up with this. The PlayStation 5... Let me just finish this little line out here. It says the PlayStation 5, combined with tools like Unreal Engine 5, will enable nothing but seamless, continuous worlds. And you can have this degree of fidelity going on for any kilometers and gigabytes you wish.
So the let me pull it up here. They're specifically talking about an M.2 SSD.
Right.
It's going to be an 825 gig SSD that supposedly hits a 5.5 gig of input data per second and much more of compressed data. Supposedly that's 100 times faster than the PS4 input output. Granted, PS4 is only using a disk drive, and if you have upgraded it, then it's either using a faster disk drive or you've put in a solid state 2.5 drive in there. Any drive that even comes close to that, mind you, is usually going to be a Samsung, a Western Digital, a Seagate, Intel. And if we're talking about the NVMe's, which is what they, or an M.2, which is what they're going to have in there, which is a PCIe hard drive, you're looking at anything that's about $300 easy for the space that they have and the read-write speeds that they have. And most, like they said, that's supposedly going to hit a 5.5 input output. Now, a lot of that doesn't just have to do with the drive itself, but it has to do with the actual bus. If we're talking technical terms, it'll have to do with the motherboard of the PS5 and how it actually communicates on that bus with the drive. So being that they probably made these or had these, I don't know, did they have these specifically made for the PS5?
I believe so.
Okay, so due to that and due to the file structure that they're going to be using, it's probably going to be able to hit those speeds. Right now, I think the fastest one I can find hits maybe read write like 2-3 gigs, although we technically do with SATA 3 get 6.6 gigs of throughput, but they're talking about technically read write, I think, is what they're talking about with that input.
And the main thing that they're trying to do here with this on the PS5 is they wanted, as much as possible, just completely cut out load times. They basically want it to where you click a game and all of a sudden you're just there. It's like switching from tabs to tabs on your Chrome browser. They want it to be like you click a game and boom, you're in. Exactly where you left off last time. Even if you completely closed the game, opened a new game, and then go back to the old game, they want you to be able to just click it, boom, you're there. No load times. And that's what this is going to help with.
You know, that for those of you that have played Rainbow Six Siege out there, a good analogy or comparison would be...
They've already announced that.
Yep. But a good comparison would be when you're in the game, both teams have picked their operators, and you got the other team with a little loading circle just going and going and going and going. You know that person didn't install their game on an SSD. It's literally that.
Well, we've kind of seen that in Valorant a little bit too, but that's still in beta, so you can't really...
I think Valorant is just people not paying attention, because that's just like CSGO. So not paying attention to the ready,
right,
and just letting it go time out. I do like that they give you a penalty for that, though.
But the last thing I wanted to read here about Unreal Engine 5 and Epic, and when I talked about their royalty program. So Epic is also slightly adjusting their business model for its engine. Starting in 2015, Epic shifted to a fully royalty model, in which it gives out access to the Unreal Engine for free, but claims 5% of all royalties that game makes after the first $3,000 in sale. Epic is changing all that. They now let developers keep all royalties of the game for the first $1 million in sales generated. In other words, $50,000. It will keep...
That's huge.
It will then take the 5% of any sales after that. Epic says that the policy change is retroactive to January 1st, 2020, and they will be reaching out to developers to coordinate refunds if in the event they launched the game using Unreal Engine in the last 4 months and paid Unreal any royalties before that $1 million threshold. So they're saying that, hey, if you guys had a game come out in the last 4 months and after the $3,000 in sales, you started paying us our royalties, but it didn't hit $1 million, we'll refund you and give you your money back. Like, they're not just going to be like, oh, yeah, it starts now. No, they're actually retroactively pushing this back to the beginning of the year, which is crazy to even think that they're going to give money away, like give it back.
Yeah,
and basically
that's huge. It's raising the profit margins of developers. So one, that's going to push a lot more people to take a look at Unreal for their games and see if it's a really good fit or not. And it's definitely be way more enticing if the royalties and if the profit margin now that they have, the new bottom line is larger with Unreal than it would be with another engine.
Also, Epic is basically launching the first ever, I guess you can call it first ever video game social media platform. Epic is finally launching into Epic Online Services, the multi-platform and game management tool. It said specifically that it was created specifically for Fortnite is now going to be able to be used for any game. Basically, what this means is you can set it up so people can log into their Epic accounts on your game, and then, boom, they're playing crossplay on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, whatever, all through an Epic ID. And they're just allowing anybody to use that system. Basically, like, yeah, we're creating our own social media that spans across all platforms that anybody can use to just crossplay because we figured it out. Yes, I think somebody commented on something I saw yesterday, and they were like, yeah, Sony was very reluctant on allowing crossplay, but Epic basically said, we figured out how to make it work easy, and we're just doing it anyways. So, and they don't.
I wonder how quickly that'll get adopted across the board.
Huh? Say it again.
I said, I wonder how quickly that'll get adopted across the board because you said anybody can use it.
Right. You just gotta, so you can just add an Epic ID log into your game and then boom. But here's the thing, Fortnite, for all the crap that people give it as a kids game, it's really revolutionized the video game industry in a lot of different ways. I mean, you wouldn't be playing Call of Duty cross-platform if it wasn't for Fortnite.
I mean, there were cross-platform games before that, like Rocket League.
Not on PlayStation. Before Fortnite, Sony wasn't allowing anything. Before Fortnite, Sony said, nah, we're not going to do that. And then Epic figured out, oh no, you just need to click one button and it's this easy. Because Sony had always kept saying, oh no, we got to go in and you got to change this, you got to change that, and it's this and that. And Epic goes, no, it's not. We literally just flip it. Like their line was, you flip a couple switches and everyone can play with everyone.
Yep.
And so Sony was kind of like, crap, you made us look bad. Okay, we'll just allow it for everything now, I guess.
Yep.
And again, that's another thing that they figured out for Fortnite. So like I stated, I don't play Fortnite. My son loves Fortnite. But for all the crap Fortnite gets, you really got to give it kudos as one of the most revolutionary games in a very long time for all the different things that it is brought to the broader world of gaming.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still gonna give credit to PlayerUnknown. Back in the Arma and Daisy mods, back then, and if it wasn't for everybody getting on those and making it popular,
true,
Fortnite would not have pushed and come out. So somebody before Fortnite set the ground for Fortnite to be created.
Well, Fortnite was
Epic
first
themselves. I think we shouldn't be giving credit necessarily to Fortnite, but to Epic themselves because they
Epic
themselves
and what they did with Fortnite.
Thinking. Yeah.
So, and I think Fortnite itself was actually first shown off in 2011 when it was just the Fortnite Save the World mode.
Yep.
And that was all the way back in 2011. And then
all it was a builder thing. It didn't become a a battle royale
No, it
until
was supposed
after
to be like a
PlayerUnknown's
Minecraft
Battleground.
Terraria type style game.
Mhm. Yep.
And then in 2017, they flipped everything and said, "Hey, we're putting this out for free. It's our uh, battle royale, whatever you want to call that right now. It's something new. Boom, here we go. Now every game's got a battle royale system. I mean,
And
Tetris
here,
has
kids,
battle
tell your
royale.
parents to buy all these skins for you. Yes, they're expensive. Yes, they will spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on skins that, by the way, don't help you win, but make you look cool.
I
Because you know
mean,
that's how they make all their money.
when you really look at it, the battle royale genre has grown so big that Tetris has a battle royale game in Tetris 99.
That's just sad.
No,
It is so congested.
You haven't played Tetris 99, have you? Because it's only on Nintendo. That
Yeah,
game is
haven't.
so addicting and so fun because it's like you start out with 99 people, at one time playing Tetris, and every time you get to a milestone, like I think it's like every 25 people eliminated, it just starts going faster and faster, and then once you get down to like 20, every person eliminated goes faster and faster and fast. It's crazy. I think I've only won once, and then I've got a bunch of like top fives and stuff. But you were talking about how get your parents to buy you all the skins and this and that. Fortnite easily, as of December 2019, brings in $1 million a day in revenue.
Yep.
That's why Epic can have their store and take less of a cut from sales because Fortnite's making them so much money. Like you stated, why Valve had to create a new Half-Life game.
Yeah, and I mean, CS:GO isn't as popular as it used to be,
Is that
and they haven't
Valve?
come out with the new CS.
Is that a Valve game?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't know.
So Counter Strike, your original Source games, the Half-Life, like Team Fortress 2, those were
Yeah,
all.
I knew those.
Yeah. So I think they would have to go back to that in order to reduce the commission to make their store a little bit more appealing to developers. Kristen asked, "What about Dauntless?" Dauntless was good. It is the
I played it a couple
game.
times.
It's Phoenix Labs, and it is the free version or a free spin-off of what Monster Hunter is.
Yeah,
So
Monster Hunter World.
Monster Hunter is your JRPG or your Japanese RPG game that's been out for forever. Like that franchise itself has been around a while, and Dauntless is a similar to that game. Pretty fun, and the fact that it's free. I've played it. I still prefer Monster Hunter though, just
Yeah, me
because
too.
I grew up with Monster Hunter series.
I think they stated Monster Hunter World has become the most successful Capcom game of all time.
That's because while Monster Hunter, from a Japanese RPG standpoint, was very popular in Europe and Japan, they always have to change things when they bring it over to the US. There's just
Exactly.
a lot of things that either we don't get, we don't understand, we don't like, we're extremely picky. So there's always things that change. That's why you see a lot of games that have the NA version and the international version.
Yeah.
They always have added scenes, deleted scenes, just differences between them. And it's very um, noticeable when it comes to, you see this a lot when it comes to the Japanese and the Korean games being ported over to the US. And Monster Hunter was one of those that was never truly successful in the US until this one.
Yeah, and then I think as of January, the Iceborne expansion has already done $4 million in sales. So that's crazy to think too. Or it's the game itself has sold $4 million since the Iceborne
5
came
million.
out. Something like that.
Iceborne 4 million copies, main game selling 15 million,
Yeah.
and the expansion is continuing to grow, which it finally crossed as of March 13th. It crossed 5 million copies.
Okay, so what I was reading of was as of January.
Yeah.
So rounding things out, we also want to talk about the next big game coming to PlayStation, which is Ghost of Tsushima. We knew a little about this game, but not very much, to be honest. And finally today, they did give us a deep dive into the game, the HUD, the world, and how everything works. And I'm going to play a little bit of the state of play, I guess you can say, that Sony put out today. as we talk about this game. So let me pop this up here. As you guys will see it here as we talk about it. I'm reading this from Jonathan Dornbush over at IGN. He says Sony and Sucker Punch. Now, if you don't know Sucker Punch, created all the Infamous games, which are great games. Like Infamous Second Son, Infamous Dying Light, all great games. They finally revealed more about their Ghost of, and like I stated, it's Tsushima, not Tsushima.
Get it right, man. Get it right.
The upcoming PS4 exclusive, which tells you the story of Jin Saki, voiced by actor Daisuke Tsuji, during the
I'm pretty sure you slaughtered that, by the way.
Oh, I know I did. During the first Mongol invasion. So they go on to state that there are a lot of advancements that you are going to see in this game from previous Sucker Punch games, like using guiding winds to navigate through the open world. If you ever get stuck and don't know where to go, you can call upon the wind, and you will see the wind swoosh by you and show you which direction you need to be going. That's pretty cool.
It reminds me of that old game Flower or whatever it was, where it's just the leaves, the wind picking up leaves and stuff. That's see right there. That's kind of what that reminds me of. Like, okay, that's what your guiding wind is.
You can call upon the wind at any time in the game, no matter what you're doing. Players also have a horse that they can call on as needed.
Boxes that guide Jin over to shrines and around the island of Tsushima.
Yeah. The horse thing gives me Breath of the Wild vibes. Because you can do that in Breath of the Wild. Just call your horse up at any time.
Or The Witcher.
True.
I would... I mean, with the graphic style, I would say The Witcher. But yeah, Breath of the Wild, The Witcher... what other game has that capability?
The open worldness of this is bigger than Witcher, which Breath of the Wild was as well.
Yeah, I believe so. Based off of what I've seen so far, I do love the visuals. They're really trying to capture that feudal Japan, just the beauty of Japan.
And just think about this. What we're watching here is running at 1080p 60. Just think if you had this on a full 4K resolution running off the PS4 Pro, holy crap, is this going to look amazing.
Even on the PS4 Pro, though, if you hit it at 4K, I think the frames will drop. It'll push you down closer to the 30, but you'll get the graphics that you're looking for here versus the fluidity of high frame rates per second. So with gameplay, I get it. But if you take the game slow, you might get a cinematic feel to it. That's always the difference there. But we always want high frame rates just because of response time.
You want to talk about cinematic?
Photo mode. So
no. Not even that. This right here, which we're showing on screen, is Jin going into a battle. And what you're going to see is to make the start of this battle seem more cinematic, they changed the freaking aspect ratio. They literally changed the aspect ratio right here. When he goes to start the standoff with the enemy. Just be like, yeah, this is something big that you need to... Like, holy crap. For battles, they changed the aspect ratio just to make it seem more robust and cinematic. Talking about this combat... this says every player can parry enemies, and doing so at the last possible moment will open them up to attacks. Change combat stances to inflict the most damage on enemies. The same shipyard combat sequence is shown as a stealthy option. Jin uses directions to silently sneak up on enemies as the tutelar ghost. So you're going to start off as a samurai and eventually become the ghost. But you were going to say...
with that right there, let me... this kind of reminds me of what I was just talking about earlier, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. So the parrying at the last minute, encountering, opening them up to attacks, the slower, you're not just going to go straight in, hack and slash, samurai known for the analyzing the opponent and waiting for that one strike, starting and ending everything with one strike.
Watch this.
That's kind of what.
Watch this. When this guy goes down, he actually checks on him for a second. His partner, friend, or whatever you want to call it, checks on him before engaging battle with you. Like, those little freaking details.
Right. And so back to the whole fight mechanics. Another thing that this kind of reminds me of, and I'm wondering how, since we haven't actually gotten a look at the actual mechanics of the gameplay, so how the controllers work for it or anything like that, it kind
So
of reminds me of For Honor's
well,
samurai play as well.
I know your action button is R2 because they showed a bunch of stuff where to interact with the world is R2, but I think it's right here. Yeah, watch right here. I think it's coming up right. Might be right here. Because there's a spot, I might have passed it. There's a spot when you're on a perch, and it's literally press square to jump down and attack that enemy, or press triangle to jump down and attack the other enemy. I'm trying to find where that actually is here. Because that was something that I noticed earlier, and I was like, wow, that's actually really cool that you don't just jump down and just hope you land on the guy you want to attack. You're actually going to specifically go after that guy that you're looking for. I think it's right around here.
Yeah, this definitely has a Ghost of, a Sekiro's feel, but it also reminds me of it's like the samurai version of Splinter Cell and Metal Gear Solid
Yeah, it's right here, I
for the
think.
stealth.
You see right here. Oh, no, it's so I was wrong. It's
It's a different assassinate.
two different
Chain
attacks. Yeah,
assassinate,
yeah, yeah. Okay, I was
yeah,
wrong. My
and
bad.
then regular assassinate.
I just remember you had the square and the triangle. So, and then
But
your character itself is customizable. And they say depending on the outfits you wear will change your abilities and how you
they're
actually have to fight.
right in here, they're really taking on that historical aspect. Uh, Samurai wore different armor, just like in medieval times. You know, your knight wore different armor depending on what they were doing. Um, Most games, they always do light, medium, heavy armor.
Right.
Here, it's all about your actual fighting style. So whether you have certain pads or plates protecting you, the helmet you're wearing, the face mask you're wearing, it's all dependent on that. And then what you're seeing in the video right now are the omamori. What are they? Omamori amulets. So what these
They call them
are,
charms.
yeah. So they're charms with they're the omamori charms or amulets, and
Right.
what they are, you would buy them at a shrine, and they usually have some sort of prayer or religious inscription of invocation that is meant to protect you. So they took that and used this as kind of perks or things that would help your character uh, with his or hers stats,
Yeah, so this says
depending on how you're playing.
Jin can be customized with various armor, which gives different mechanical advances. It is not just cosmetic. Players will discover charms that give Jin different benefits. Players can choose the technique with skill points they wish to give Jin and customize his attack strategy depending on their play style.
Now, if you can scroll back a little bit on the
Yeah.
video when he was collecting the flowers. So, speaking of customizable, we all like different skins and different colors. You can customize Jin's armor in any different color you want,
Right.
but they added an exploration and craft mechanism to it. So, you actually have to go and find the dye flowers for the color that you want in order to dye his armor the color you want,
And you
which
don't
I
have
think is awesome.
to get off your horse to pick something up off the ground.
Oh, Horizon Zero
Yep.
Dawn. Always
That's what I
having
was
to get
about to
off the
say.
damn thing. Yep.
But here's something John wanted to talk about. Photo mode. You've tried to bring
Oh,
this up twice
man.
already.
I know. It's just
It says,
it's amazing
let me read
because
this really fast. It says Ghost of Tsushima's photo mode allows players to control the wind and its speed in a photo or video. Songs from the score can also be chosen when creating a video you want to share. And particle effects can be changed out to let players choose different scenes. Players can collect flowers to change the color of their armor to be used in different photos. So basically,
yeah,
not only can you create photos, but you can create little videos or GIFs throughout your gameplay as well.
I mean, there's going to be a lot of artistic freedom there as to what you will do with it. I mean, I would like to create my own wallpaper for my PS4.
Right?
Using that.
Just think if you can create like all these particles, a dynamic wallpaper.
Oh, that would be awesome.
So the last
Hmm.
thing that I wanted to bring up, other than the game comes out July 17th, is this right here: Japanese voice track. Not only for us here in America will there be an English voice cast, but you have the option of either playing the game with Japanese dub or English dub. So if you
I
want an
would.
authentic Japanese samurai style movie feel, you can play through the whole game with them talking in Japanese. Now,
I would say
they don't show
do the whole
subtitles.
game in Japanese.
They don't show subtitles, so I would assume in the final version there's going to be subtitles in English.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I think that's something that really cool that I've seen on Twitter. A lot of people say that they're going to do.
You have to. I mean, if you really want to get the feel of it, it's just like watching any other Chinese, Japanese, Korean film. You don't watch it dubbed. You don't get the full acting of it. I mean, while here you will get acting of it from the American
Right.
voice actor that was chosen, or whoever. Doesn't necessarily mean they're American, but you want it to be authentic as possible, and you will get that from someone who is a Japanese actor. I feel that way for it, and it adds to the authenticity and the historical feel to the game. And this goes for anything. Like I watch a lot of anime, and I'm for watching subtitled English subtitles with a Japanese audio track over dub. The only time I watch dub is I don't have a subtitled one available because it's like on Netflix or something, then or
Right.
Hulu or whatever. Or B, I'm watching it in the background and I don't have the ability to pay attention for the subtitles. So like when I'm at work, I'll have it up on the side. That's the only time I watch dub, English dub. But for anybody who plays this game, shame on you if you play it with the English and don't do the subtitles
Also,
with the Japanese track.
if you want to go one step further, you can play the entire game in what they call samurai mode, which is a black and white film grain mode that basically you can turn on from the beginning of your gameplay and emulates classic samurai films.
More of a reason to play it in the Japanese audio track
Yep.
with the English subtitle.
And then as far as what's going to come after the game launches with DLC, if they're going to have New Game Plus and this and that, none of that has been stated. The game does come out in 2 months, July 17th, 2020. And yeah, I think this is going to be a really cool game. I'm on the fence of getting it. Like, it looks really cool and I want to play it, but I don't know if I want to chill out $60 for it. You know what I mean?
60. I'm looking at the $180
Yeah, you would
collectors. I'm a huge, like, while I don't really go out and purchase a lot of these collector's editions, I am a huge Japanese history, like feudal Japan. I'll show you one second.
So as John finds that, speaking of collector's editions, I forgot to mention, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 will have a collector's edition for $99. You will get the game, you will get all the deluxe edition stuff, you will get the what's it called? Steel book and an exclusive birdhouse skateboard that is created for only people that get the collector's edition of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, and the skateboard is only going to be a limited run. So there's not even going to be, however many people pre-order the collectors get it. No, there's only a limited amount of that. But John, show off what you got.
So give you an idea why I'm getting this game. Code of the Samurai. So I am a huge buff, and I am definitely going to be checking out to see how accurate they definitely
So how
portray
accurate
the game.
was Sekiro?
Sekiro is pretty good. There are things that I would I would change, but it is meant to be one of those hard as hell games that you're going to die often. So while Ghost of Tsushima looks more along the lines of Witcher, it's an RPG,
Right,
in the aspect that there's a little bit more exploration, very open world. I mean, it really feels like Witcher to me, with the shrines and just the scenery, the horse. So, I mean, for those of you that haven't played Sekiro, if you want to get your hands on a samurai game, feudal Japan game now, that's one to do it. Just it's not for the faint of heart. You will die a crap ton.
Yeah, I haven't played it, but I've watched people play it, and it's like, don't even worry. Like some people are like, I'm gonna play through it and only die a couple times, and then you start playing 5 minutes in, and you're like, never mind, I'm gonna die a bunch.
Yep.
Because that game is
Oh yeah.
apparently, even on the easiest of modes, pretty dang hard. Didn't you say you
I
had
mean,
your
that's the whole
dad
point.
try that game or something?
No, no,
Oh,
no,
then
no,
it
no.
wasn't. Somebody told me that they had their dad, that's not a gamer, play that game.
Yeah, that game will get you to throw your controller or something through it. I mean, I don't know if anybody's seen the memes of just dodging, doing a roll dodge over and over and over again. Well, that was Dark Souls. That's
Yeah,
how pretty much
right.
how you spend most of your Dark Souls experience. It's not quite like that here. The gameplay mechanics in Sekiro are different, so you're not going to survive the same way you did there. Just because you're not swinging an axe, you're not doing. There's a lot more mobility in what you can do, rappelling across, to the trees and the rooftops. There's more stealth to it, but definitely, if you haven't, play it. If you're down to die a lot and you can tough through it, it's a very rewarding game. And then when Ghost of Tsushima comes out, get that and let us know what you think.
And one of the things I wanted to say about why it's called Ghost of Tsushima, because everyone's like, he's just a samurai. They showed nothing off of why he's quote unquote ghost. The reason it's called Ghost is because a lot of, I guess, the combat is going to be done at night, and you're supposed to play it stealthily like a ghost. So they say in the day he is an honorable samurai, but at night he transitions to the ghost.
Okay, so with that, think about ninjas,
Right.
and they were the assassins of the day. They would do the feudal lord's bidding. They would go out and assassinate whoever they needed to assassinate. So that is, and it wasn't really honorable. A samurai is meant to face their opponent head on.
Yep.
It is a duel. You see your opponent. If you win, that opponent accepts there's honor and death in the fight. You die with honor. If you're assassinating people, you're pretty much killing them. It's not necessarily unarmed because they are armed, but there is no honor in it, and that's why you're the ghost.
Mm-hmm. Correct. So I think this game is going to look fun. I think I might get it. I'm on the fence right now because I don't know if I want. I'm not going to get this and Last of Us, and I'm more interested for Last of Us. Because Last of Us 2 is. When's Last of Us 2? Last of Us 2. I know that was pushed back. Last
June,
of
I
Us 2
think.
release is before? No. I thought it was pushed farther back. Let me see. Last of Us 2 Part 2. I know it was supposed to be out May 29th. Then it got pushed. Is it now June 19th? I thought
Or
it got
maybe
pushed.
it's August. Or
I
is it
thought
August or September?
that's what I was thinking. September.
Because
Because whatever I.
July 17th is Ghost of Tsushima release.
Right. But I'm trying to find. Because I know they pushed.
June 14th. No, not June 14th. Sorry. Um, for some reason, I typed in Last of Us 2 and it came up with Last of Us 1 as a release. And I was like, what? And then I saw the year. I was like, you tricked me.
Let me see. This might have it. Because this is the pre-order guide off of Polygon. Oh. June 19th. Because I know at one point it was pushed
Okay.
farther back. So it may have been pushed back up.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, June 19th, 2020.
Yeah.
So one per month.
Because I know I won't be getting both. And I loved Last of Us 1, so I'll probably end up getting Last of Us 1 maybe. But
I'm definitely gonna get it. So there's of course I'm a Final Fantasy fan, so I got that. But then there's two historical or mythological sides that I like, and one is um Japanese history, especially in that era, and then Norse mythology. So, later on, is it this year? Later on this year when Valhalla comes out. So those are 2 games I'm looking forward to.
Did you hear with Valhalla? They said that there will be a DLC Beowulf story.
Nice.
Yeah, that would be really cool. But with that, I think that's going to wrap up this edition of the Weebo and Director Show. I want to thank everybody who watched live right here on twitch.tv/Weebo Director or watched us later on YouTube, Weebo and Director Show on YouTube. You can remember to follow us on all of our social media platforms. We're on Facebook. I think we're on Facebook. We may have a Facebook. We don't post there ever.
We are on Facebook.
But we do have a Twitter and we
Weebo
do have an
and Director
Instagram.
Show.
You can also find me on Twitter and Twitch at Timmy Buddy. Also, if you like pro wrestling, you can follow me at Pro Wrestling Unlimited on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, everywhere else. John, where can they find you?
They can find me on Twitch and Twitter, the Director47. They can also find me on my alternate Twitter account, Cyber Lowdown, all one word there. And Tim, are you going to be streaming after this?
I'm going to be streaming some Grand Theft Auto 5.
All right. Me, I will be on Valorant once again. Maybe. I got to see if...
I'm tempted to jump on
some of
Valorant
my-
with you instead.
Yeah, okay. See, so we might be doing Valorant instead. If not, he'll be doing Grand Theft Auto 5, and I
Right.
might be doing Sekiro, but most likely Valorant, and you'll see both of us streaming together in our respective Twitch channels. So stay tuned.
Have a good day or night whenever you're watching this, and we'll see you next week.